Fellas, the European Union has recalled its ambassador in Niger because they're not happy. Why are they not happy? Yes, okay, so it's the weekend, it is Saturday evening, I'm getting ready to go party. I have a couple of drinks. I haven't been out in a long time, I just want to have a good time right now. But because I love you so much, I want to make this video before I leave, right? Let's go. We're talking about Niger. Here's Niger. You know the map. Great. We cannot think that everybody understands geography. Here's Niger. You got it. So the European Union has recalled its ambassador in Niger because of the tension between the country and the European Union. I'm going to give you context, but before we get to that, the European Union sent money to Niger to help some people. And the authorities of Niger say, nope, you are not sending money in my country like that without checking with me. So the European Union got touched, they got very angry, and they called back the ambassador. So we're going to dive into this so you can understand why and what is what. Okay, let's go. So the European Union says they have taken note of the statement issued by the Niger transitional authorities, challenging the modality and management of humanitarian aid provided by the European Union delegation to the victims of severe flooding in the country. On Friday, fellas, the Niger transitional government criticized the European Union for allocating 1.3 million euros in humanitarian aid prior to consultation. So they gave money for aid in Niger without checking the Nigerian government. Now, what's the aid for? They sent money to aid people in a very difficult situation. So in Niger lately, there was flooding, a lot of water. Very, very sad. A lot of people lost their homes and stuff. And the European Union decided to send 1.3 million euros. And after doing that, the Nigerians said, no, you're not going to do that. Now, you're probably asking yourself to understand why. Like, somebody's trying to help you with some money. Why are you saying no to that money? That's where I come, my brother. I'm going to explain to you. On Friday, Niger transitional government criticized the European Union for allocating 1.3 million euros in humanitarian aid without prior consultation. A government statement accused the European Union ambassador of redistributing these funds to NGOs unilaterally, allegedly ignoring transparency principles and bypassing collaboration with Nigerian authority. An audit of the fund's management was requested. In response, the European Union spokesperson expressed profound disagreement with Niger's allegation, viewing them as a direct challenge to the European Union management of its humanitarian support. Okay, fellas, here's the context. The context is simple. Niger and the European Union don't get along really well. No, they don't. Why? Because of these people right here. This man's name is General Chani. He is the leader of Niger right now. Yes, he is a soldier. As you can see, he's wearing soldier stuff. Obviously. Now, how did he become president? He toppled this other guy that you're seeing right here. His name is Mohamed Bazoum. And you're certainly asking yourself, why did he topple Mohamed Bazoum? Well, Mohamed Bazoum was toppled because the people didn't like him anymore. Mohamed Bazoum was working for the interest of Western nations instead of working for the interest of the people of Niger. Sometimes the West will find a puppet, make him a president of a country with the goals of looting the country. You choose somebody from the people, just give him enough money so he can tame down his own brothers and sisters. But in the meantime, we are looting the country. Now, the people of Niger had had enough of suffering, with all the gold that they have, uranium that they have, but they still live in poverty. So they decided to topple this guy. After toppling this guy, the French and the Europeans were not very happy with the new government. Why were they not happy? They were not happy because with Bazoum, they could come and do whatever they wanted. They could run the economy, they could take minerals, they could do whatever they want to do at will. But with these new people who are soldiers, they cannot do the same thing. So they were very angry. So let me just remind you here, okay? The European Union and France used to give money to Niger while Mohamed Bazoum was still in power. But after they toppled him, they suspended the funds. The French Foreign Ministry said France had suspended all development aid and budget support with immediate effect, demanding a prompt return to constitutional order with Bazoum back in charge. French development aid for Niger was around 120 million euros in 2022. So France used to send money to Niger as aid. Well, that's how they call it, aid. But that was with Mohamed Bazoum in power. The European Union also cut aid from Niger. People talk about $500 million the European Union used to send to Niger with Mohamed Bazoum. Now, are you going to tell me these people used to send money just for free? I mean, let's just say they have way too much money they're going to send to these African people just because they're good people. Well, probably not. People don't just send money for nothing. There must be something in return. And that is why they were very pissed off when Mohamed Bazoum was toppled. They needed to have him back. Now, the question I want to ask you is this one, okay? The European Union and France cut off their aid, which amounted to approximately $1 billion a year. They cut off the aid pretending that it was because Mohamed Bazoum was not in power. Until Bazoum is back in power, they will not aid anymore. Now, all of a sudden, Niger's got floods. You send 1.3 million euros? What is that for? No. You said you're not going to give me money anymore because you don't like my attitude. Now, I got an issue with my little niece that lives in my house. She's crying because she was chased from school. You want to send her money without passing by me, going directly to her? Come on, fella. I'm not going to allow that. Who's going to allow that? Would you allow your enemy, yes, your enemy, to give money to your nephew in your house? You wouldn't allow that. There must be something fishy. Definitely something fishy. And that's the reason why Niger said, no, fella, if you're going to give them money, then you have to have a discussion with me. You can't say, okay, I suppress $1 billion that I used to give you because I don't like you, I like the previous president. Then all of a sudden there's floods in my country and people are crying, and all of a sudden you take 1.3 million euros to give for floods and you distribute to NGOs. I can't accept that. What are you planning? No, tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth. What are you planning? What is that you're trying to do? Because it looks like there's something you're trying to do. No, come on. You don't talk to me, but you're talking to my niece? How? So I need to know. I need to understand what's happening. So the European Union got very pissed off and they called back their ambassador for consultation. You know, because you don't want us to give you money and you want to control the money I give you, we're calling back our ambassador. Well, sorry for that, brother. You're not going to do that. You already took away 1 billion. It's not the million that's going to hurt us. Now, the question is this one, fella. I mean, we know they don't like these people. They don't like Niger. They don't like Burkina Faso. They do not like Mali. Why are you sending the money? Can we exclude the fact that you maybe are sending the money to finance something fishy in the country? Or maybe you're trying to finance some really bad people so they can do something really bad. You see what I'm saying? How do you feel about that, fella? Do you think it's a good move from Niger to refuse the money and say, since you said, well, we're not going to get money from you anymore, then you better keep that money and shove it up your, you know what I mean? Next thing, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, these are the countries you can see on the map. They've come together as a confederation. So they are some sort of one country now because they feel like together they're stronger. They have a very similar mentality. They want to be free of any negativity. They have decided that from January, they're doing away with roaming. Yes, fella, roaming on the phone. You know, when you travel to the next country and you have to pay extra money to still be reachable. Yeah, that's the roaming fee that many of us have to pay when we travel abroad. Now, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali will be sounding like local calls. No more roaming, no more nothing. Let me just remind you, these three countries in January decided they're going to do away with ECOWAS. And these are ECOWAS. As you can see, these countries all come together as a group named ECOWAS. And these three countries have decided not to be part of ECOWAS anymore because ECOWAS have a very tight link with France. And France clearly is the enemy of these three countries that are trying to free themselves. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It was a great pleasure. Niger saying, fella, European Union, don't send money into my house. We don't want your money. You already said you don't want to send money anymore because we're not legitimate. Because we're not legitimate in your house. So why are you still sending money? Keep your 1.3 million euro. God bless.